Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Good Old Podcast. I'm Jackie French, really for Wahoo's 24/7. I want to start off this episode by saying sorry. Apparently, last week's episode was in this processing limbo and never actually published while I was away. And I just noticed when I logged in yesterday that it didn't publish. So what I'm doing is what you're seeing is re-recording the introduction so that it makes sense, since my introduction last week was saying that we were 1 week away from ACC kickoff. Well, right now, actually, I'm about to hit the road and hit to Charlotte for ACC kickoff, where Virginia head coach Tony Elliott will be joined by running back Paris Jones, quarterback Tony Muskett, and defensive lineman Chico Bennett at the event to talk about the season ahead and to preview fall camp, which starts on August 2nd. So we have full coverage on Wahoo's 24/7, and I will have full coverage here as well. I will be planning to post content on here on Thursday when I am back in Virginia to kind of touch base on what we've heard. Obviously, we'll have live coverage on Wednesday when Virginia will be on the podium, and we'll have talking to the media then. But I'll also have further coverage on Thursday. And then on Friday, we'll have another media event leading into the season where we'll be talking to Elliott once again, talking to players, including running back Mike Hollins. But we will also be talking to all the Virginia assistants from both sides of the ball ahead of fall camp, which again starts on August 2nd. And obviously we'll have full coverage of fall camp. So there's a lot of questions heading into the ACC. This is obviously the first year where there's no divisions anymore. Bye-bye Coastal Chaos. Bye-bye the Atlantic. So that's going to be the scheduling question that will obviously be a big talker. Who's going to be the first, I guess, ACC regular season champion. And then the first two will go to the ACC championship game, regardless of where they were in divisions last year. So that will be the first time for that, and where Virginia fits into that. So that is one of the questions that we'll be asked about. And as far as Virginia, on the football related side, because obviously this is going to be a media event, which will have non-football questions asked from UVA student athletes and Elliott, unfortunately. This will be a season filled with milestones and no team and no one wants to deal with the first home game since the shooting, the first football game since the shootings. But on the football side, there will be focused on the offense. What has changed? How's Tony Muskett handling the offense? How much has he learned from the playbook? How much has the chemistry grown between the team? How has the transfers assimilated? How's the O-line growth? Who has stepped up at the wide receiver room? Obviously veterans have left, which, young guy has really impressed. On the defensive side, how's that cornerback battle? You're talking about Malcolm Green, Sam Westfall, a lot of guys. Hearing that a couple of young safeties have made some noise, like Aiden Ryan. How's his development? So there's a lot of questions on the defensive side as well, about which other veteran leaders are stepping up and which young guys are trying to get some more playing time there. We talk about the veterans on the defensive front. That secondary has a lot of young guys that could potentially be big-time players this year who can be a breakout star. So those are the type of questions that we'll have at ACC kickoff and also on Friday when we meet with the assistants and their position group. So a lot to cover, a lot of coverage coming your way in the next few days. So before we get to Christian Bliss interview, why don't you go ahead and like this channel on YouTube. Also like this video so it can help our algorithm, and click on the bell or when there's more videos. If you followed us last year, you know that content really steps up during football season. That's coming up. We try to do at least 2 podcasts a week during football season, one to talk about the previous game and one to preview the next game. And possibly there were some weeks where we were able to do 3. So we are still trying to adjust our schedule to see what works, especially because Virginia has a couple midweek games. So it's a little harder to plan midweek games because you get one less day on the week. So most likely going to stick with 2 a week starting in the football season, considering the schedule has a couple midweek games and Friday night games. But that's moving a little bit forward. So again, if you can just like our YouTube channel, but also leave a review and rate us wherever you listen to your podcast, on Apple or Spotify. It helps us continue to grow this show, but also grow Wahoo's 24/7 so that we can provide more coverage of the Virginia Cavaliers in the next few months and years here to come. So we're just going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to move to Christian Bliss's interview. Like I said, this was a pre-recorded interview I did with Christian. We actually spoke because the plan was to air this out when I was on vacation. So we actually recorded it just before he went to the Peach Jam. So I would have it ready to go when I was on vacation. Unfortunately, things happen. So I never really asked about his reclassification because I didn't know if it was going to be confirmed by the time I was on vacation. So I didn't want the interview to be dated. So he didn't actually answer anything about reclassification. It is still on the table. I didn't talk about his Peach Jam performance because he didn't go to the Peach Jam yet. He was actually on the way to the airport when we decided to do this interview, which I appreciate it. He's a busy guy doing a lot of stuff. And I'm really happy that he took a few minutes to do this interview with us. So without further ado, we're going to take a quick break and come back for the Christian Bliss interview. Welcome back to the Good Old Podcast. I'm Jackie Franchuli for Wahoo is 24/7, and we're joined on the show on the phone with Christian Bliss, who committed to Virginia basketball just recently. So, Christian, first off, congrats on that commitment, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, how exciting is it that I could introduce you as one of the newest Virginia commitments?
It's exciting. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I dreamed of playing basketball at the highest level I could play. And it's just kind of one step closer to where my ultimate dream is.
Christian, you had a lot of programs vying for your attention, vying for your commitment. What was it about Virginia that made you choose them?
I think just energy can't lie. I mean, when I got there, I kind of just felt the authenticity of the program, Coach Bennett, the guys. It kind of just felt like it was the right place for me.
Virginia seems like they were on you pretty early, even before they offered you here in around, I think it was April or May, they offered you, if I remember correctly. So they were on you quite a bit. How has your relationship with Virginia head coach Tony Bennett kind of developed from that first initial interactions to now?
I think it kind of just gradually got better. We did multiple Zooms, just get to know each other on a personal level, and then kind of dive into the basketball things and things got more serious. But he showed me kind of everything I needed to see, and the visit went great. So I think it was a tough decision, but it became easy at the end when I knew this is the place I wanted to go to.
It was during the spring where your recruitment kind of exploded. Did it ever feel overwhelming?
I think kind of like 2 weeks before I made the decision, once I started taking my visits, it kind of became a little overwhelming. But I have a good family and people that helped me, so it was manageable.
So you're going to hear this a lot. And I don't know if you're hearing it right now or you're reading about it, but a lot of people compare your game to another Virginia player, Ty Jerome. How does that make you feel having your game compared to Ty like that?
It's nice. I'm appreciative of people comparing me to Ty. Obviously, I know Ty, so that's nice. But I'm my own player. I'm Christian Bliss, and I'm trying to make a name for myself and build my own path.
And that actually kind of leads to my next question, because you do have a relationship with Ty. How much did you rely on him during your recruiting process, especially because Virginia was a team recruiting you? How much did you talk about the program? Did he give you some advice? What was his message throughout all of this?
I'm just asking him how his relationship was with Coach, what his experience was like, what I should be prepared for, and just kind of ask him, like, what is it like the locker room, things like that, the things that are important to me. And he had nothing but good things to say, whether I wanted to hear it or not. He kept it real with me, and I was appreciative of that.
Was there anything that surprised you about his story and how he got to Virginia?
I didn't really know his whole story, but it was surprising a little bit that his freshman year wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I think towards the end he kind of probably picked it up, but in the beginning it wasn't the easiest for him. So he was just saying, I got to be prepared for the good and the bad.
So we're going to get away a little bit about your recruitment. I always like to ask a little bit more during his interview. So how would you describe yourself so that people can start getting to know you before we even get on grounds?
I'm a good character kid. I'm very supportive of the people around me, and I want the best for everyone around me, whether I know them closely or not. But I'm really a good kid, and I show that on the court, and I show that to the people I'm around.
You said you dreamt about playing basketball your entire life. Did you grow up watching a certain team? Did you have a player you wanted to emulate growing up?
So I grew up really watching the Knicks. I liked college later on in my life, but I liked the Knicks. I was always watching that with my dad when I was home, when I was younger. So kind of Carmelo Anthony was someone I watched a lot because he was on the Knicks. But now I like Jalen Brunson, guys like that who are still on the Knicks. So I kind of just love the New York teams in every sport.
You recognize heartbreak as a New York fan.
Absolutely.
I feel you. I'm a Miami fan, so I'm a Miami sports team fan. So obviously I know heartbreak. Obviously, I know recent heartbreak, so I feel you, man. Moving on from my heartbreak, what are some things you do away from the sport?
I kind of just spend a lot of time with my family. Um, I'm heavy on family for sure. I like to go out and eat, things like that. I don't really have too many hobbies, I would say. I'm definitely a competitive person, so I like just doing other things, other sports, other activities that involve the competing, like ping pong or pool or like things like that, small activities like that. I take school seriously, so I take a lot of time. And, kind of as a student athlete, you don't have much time for other things besides school and basketball. So I try to just stay focused on those.
Well, at least you have another New Yorker on this roster of Ryan Dunn. I'm guessing he'll be showing you a lot of food spots in Charlottesville.
I'm sure he is because I'm going to be at all of them. I love eating.
What's your favorite foods?
Honestly, I like everything, but I think probably my go-to meal is probably like something like Chipotle, like rice, chicken, peas, beans, things like that. I'm Spanish, so I like a lot of Spanish food.
Man, I wish you were on the team with Jack Salt. He and you can talk about Chipotle and what you guys like. I believe he had double of everything at one point. So that's um Chipotle was a big thing for Jack.
I heard someone got it every single day.
Yeah, so I don't know if I could have it every single day. Maybe once in a while for Chipotle for me, but as we end this interview, Christian, what is one thing you want Virginia fans to know about you, or what's your message to the Cavalier faithful?
The future is bright. I think we got a good group of kids. I haven't really met them all yet, but I know they're very talented. And I'm just here to win. I'm here to win basketball games and bring a national championship back to Virginia. I'm going to come in every day and I'm going to work. I'm going to work hard, and I'm never going to get too high or too low. And I'm just going to stay with the team and figure out a way to win and just continue to win game by game.
When we're talking, obviously this interview is going to be posted after the Peach Jam, but you're on your way to the Peach Jam. Are you going to be recruiting anyone for Virginia?
Definitely. I spoke with Coach yesterday, and we're just looking forward to a good Peach Jam. Hopefully, bring another good piece or two, and just keep things moving in the right direction.
Can you give us a hint?
I mean, first and foremost, my teammate Matt. You guys offered him a little while ago, so I'm talking to him, and I'm just going to see, guys I play against, so I'm watching to see if I think that they'd be a good fit, and then tell Coach if I do, and see where that goes.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you, Christian, for joining the show and answering our questions, and I hope you have a safe flight.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
And that was Christian Bliss joining us on the show. I really appreciate him taking the time so us to get to know him. Again, if you like what you're hearing, continue to subscribe to us on Wahoo's 24/7 and also wherever you listen to your podcasts, and have your videos right here on YouTube. Like I said earlier in the show, football's about to kick off, and we'll have full coverage of fall camp and everything leading up to fall camp on Wahoo's 24/7. So don't make sure you miss all the content that is coming for you, both in written and podcast form. But for Christian Bliss, I'm Jackie Franchuli, and I hope you guys have a good rest to your week. And I'll be back right here after I get back from vacation.